What's up, party people? Today is Sunday, February 24th, and I'm going to do a quick rundown of the headline news for you guys today. Starting with somebody in the Navy filed a patent for a room temperature superconductor. This is a huge deal. Basically, a room temperature superconductor could radically alter the way we handle power transmission, the internet, almost all things. It's going to be a really, really big deal once we discover how to make a room temperature superconductor. And here is a patent for just such a thing. So is it just a concept, or do they have a working model? I'd be very interested in hearing your thoughts and opinions on that, but exciting news if true. Room temperature superconductor is the biggest news of today by far. An MIT engineer flew the first ever plane with no moving parts. They're using, I believe they're using electrical ionization of the air around them, the ionic wind, to make a plane that can fly with no moving parts. Imagine this whole wing covered with solar sails, and the whole plane moving with no moving parts, and you've got the recipe for a very low-cost aircraft that could be, very efficient. Hey, guess what? Human sexuality is tied to health. That shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, but if you're in good shape, you're going to have a better sex life. If you're not in good shape, you're probably going to have not as good of a sex life. No offense, lesbians, but that's just this is science. This isn't something I made up here, so sorry about that. A prostitute who promised on Twitter that she would never commit suicide, who also exposed a pedophile ring, has been, she's now allegedly committed suicide, but, people are speculating that, perhaps she was murdered. Anyway, if you want to look up Natasha Jate, that could be interesting to look that up. In the UK, gay and trans sex education is going to be taught to 5-year-olds, and opting out will be illegal. Just another nail in the coffin for state-run education, in my opinion. People should be homeschooled. It's just a better idea. Macron wants to ban hate speech convicts from all social media for life. This is Emmanuel Macron, the same one that French protesters have been protesting for 15 weeks now. The protests in France have been going on for 15 weeks. So, yeah. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says, if you don't like the new Green Deal, then come up with your own ambitious on-scale proposal to address the global climate change crisis. Until then, we're in charge and you're just shouting from the cheap seats. This is a public servant here telling the American public to shut up and take it. Pretty disgusting, actually, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Once again, an alleged socialist seems to be a fascist. Arizona had a 36-inch snowfall that shattered the 126-year-old record. Pretty crazy. China has now blocked 17.5 million plane tickets for people without enough social credit. If you've seen that Black Mirror episode, then you know what that's all about. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. We definitely live in a dystopian future, and the Chinese social credit score is definitely a big part of that. Kamala Harris, who we know is an actual prostitute who had 2 different jobs that she got from a man much older than her, a married man much older than her, while sleeping with him. But she's now a presidential candidate, and she's claiming that calls for the U.S. to take in Venezuelan refugees. And keep in mind, too, that almost all of even Tulsi Gabbard, who's, allegedly anti-war, is claiming that we need to have a regime change in Venezuela. And we're trying to get rid of the democratically elected leader there and replace him with an American puppet. Guaido is definitely an American puppet. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Maduro. I don't know anything about Maduro or Chavez or much about Venezuela in general, but I do know that Guaido is definitely an American puppet. So and the regime change there definitely matches what we've done in South America, the Middle East, and Africa in the past. So I'm opposed to intervention in other countries. With women in combat roles, a federal court has ruled that male-only draft is unconstitutional. So women can be expected to be drafted during the next war, since women are in combat roles now. So Yeah. Now the government can take your daughters and send them to war against your will. So, uh, of course, having a standing military at all is unconstitutional, but let's not get into that. And explosions and delays mark Nigeria's presidential election. I don't know why on this news site, instead, we have a full screen video about R. Kelly, who's a sexual deviant who's preyed on many minors, apparently. But yeah, and an image of Bernie Sanders, because the mainstream media is going to promote Bernie Sanders, even though he's just going to roll over like he did to Hillary in 2016. But yeah, in Nigeria, gunfire and explosions opened Nigeria's delayed election on Saturday as President Muhammadu Buhari seeks a second term in Africa's most populous nation. So violence erupts in Nigeria. Clearly, this is a country that is having a lot of problems, and you have to wonder if the election is in fact democratic there or not. So that is the news for today. Today is Sunday, February 24th. If you guys like the new news format, let me know in the comments. I'm going to be whited out here because, well, it just makes my job a little bit easier. So hope you guys are all having a great day, and talk to you later, Internet fam.